Hey guys, it's Tia, welcome to the video. Today I will be revealing some print-on-demand niches or topics that have sold well for me personally on Etsy and still make me some consistent side income like this. I'll also be explaining how I found these niches so you can find more of your own, and how I find keywords for tags and SEO so people can actually find my designs and get them ranked in search. Because I don't use any paid advertising at the moment, so this is all from free traffic. Now, I sell print on demand on other websites as well, but I have noticed a few differences with Etsy, especially in terms of what kind of stuff sells, which I'll be talking about here. And some other topics I wanted to touch on are, should you do custom print on demand products, and how do you sell your print on demand designs as digital files alongside physical products, so you can get the most bang for your time. So a lot of value is going to be in this video. Make sure to watch till the end so you don't miss anything. Drop a like and subscribe if you do find it helpful. And if you're new to Etsy or print on demand in general, then check out my beginner's POD tutorial for Etsy in the description. If you want to see how I built an Etsy shop from scratch that makes me autopilot passive income almost every day, and more on my SEO methods, so exactly how I find keywords that sell, suspensions, customer service, all these different topics, then check out my Etsy playlist in the description, which includes that video. So in general, with Etsy compared to those like free print on demand websites, I found that more organic stuff has more potential because there's just a bigger market in general. So the first niche that does pretty consistent sales for me is professions or careers. These aren't my shops or designs, these are just examples I'm showing you on screen right now. But some professions do better than others. You can find this out by testing. Keep in mind, for me, only around 1 in 10 designs I upload ever make a sale. It's just how it is. I actually didn't want to sell stuff related to professions and careers at first because I got the impression it's pretty saturated. Like, you always see t-shirts with these corny teacher quotes on them and stuff like that. And they just don't sell at all on the other websites. But as I said, Etsy has a bigger market and you can make these organic niches work if you know what you're looking for. Now, one thing to bear in mind before I continue is that a large majority of Etsy customers are women. So we're talking like 70% plus women. It was a website originally intended for handmade, like sewing crafty type things, but print on demand is more of a recent development. So you would expect stereotypically female niche careers like I know, nursing, personal care, that kind of thing sells better. Obviously not that men can't be nurses, etc., but hopefully you know what I'm saying without getting too political. But keep in mind, obviously, that women know men as well, and they get gifts for their sons, husbands, work colleagues, that kind of thing. So don't immediately rule out more masculine niches. It's just something to be aware of, I guess. So now I'll be giving you an idea of how to find these sort of professions that sell. So as I said, I didn't want to sell in this niche at first because I thought it was too saturated, it'd be a waste of time, until I came across this exact shop, and a lot of similar ones actually, but this was the shop that sort of changed my mind on this. Now this is a shop with a ridiculous amount of uploads. I think they've taken the date off when they started now. Yeah, it used to say when they opened this shop, but I know they only started selling in late 2020. So in less than 2 years, they've made 50k sales. And if we give like a conservative estimate of, say, like $4 profit a sale, then they've made over 200 grand in less than 2 years. And you'll find a lot of shops like this. The great thing about them is that they've basically done all the testing for us when it comes to keywords and niches. So if you imagine the sales funnel for t-shirts, you've got firstly the customers who sort of browse, see the t-shirts, and then favorite. And then the next layer is actually buying. And the final layer at the top is leaving a review. So say like only 1 in 10 customers ever leave a review, even if you ask. That's pretty accurate for me anyway. And about 1 in 20 buy. 5% conversion rate is pretty standard. So the customers that actually leave a review are your like 1 in 200 top 0.5 most loyal customers. So clearly these are the most targeted customers. A while back I had a look through reviews from print on demand shops that are doing well and have started recently, which you can find if you just search t-shirt. I think some shops might not have the date of when they started, but some of them will. So just look for more recent ones. And I made a list of the keywords and niches which repeatedly got reviews from shops like this and others. and then took those keywords and niches and tried to make better designs than these and put them in my shop. And unsurprisingly, some of those sold well. Also, it looks like this shop only sells shirts, but if you put the designs on other products like coffee mugs, sweaters, water bottles, stickers, that's an option as well. That can help you differentiate better. You can also look for unique products like jewelry, shot glasses, greeting cards, all kind of things. You don't have to stick to shirts. Obviously, this is just to give you an idea of the keywords that sell. So when it comes to SEO, I have a look at the keywords from the listings with multiple reviews, and then I put the main keyword into this research tool. It's called Sales Samurai, which generates me some low competition and high demand keywords. Well, it generates you keyword ideas, but you've got to look for the ones which have low competition and high demand. And then I use those in my titles and tags so I can get my listing ranked higher on less competitive keywords, which are still getting searched. Now, this is a paid software. I have a link to a 3-day free trial in the description. It's an affiliate link, so massive thanks for supporting the channel if you decide to try it out. I have made a full tutorial in the playlist on how I use this tool to optimize SEO. It's got Chrome extension as well, very useful. I used to research keywords manually, but this is sort of my go-to tool for keyword ideas now. But of course, if you don't want to pay, then you can just use the same keywords as other sellers by scrolling to the bottom of the listing. So they should have their keywords here in explore related searches and seeing what keywords they're using, because that's clearly working for them. Or just use a free research tool called Etsy Hunt, which is, well, it's free, but the data has a bit of lag. I've made a video on it. It's up to you, really. Now, onto my point about designing. Most print-on-demand sellers, to put it frankly, they know how to do their SEO and research, which is undoubtedly the most important part, because as I've said before, if nobody sees your design, then nobody buys your design, right? But they have no idea how to actually design well, or they just upload very basic text-based designs like this. This is not trashing this shop in any way. Clearly, they're doing something right to get all those sales, but it's definitely not that hard to do a better job than this at designing. And shops like this just rely on pumping out thousands of designs to saturate the market. And yes, to an extent, quantity does make quality, but only if you're actively improving each design as well as focusing on what works. So obviously don't copy other people's designs, that is not allowed. Don't be copying other sellers. Always try to make your design better using keywords from their reviews. So once you're getting traffic, you can have a higher conversion rate with fewer designs as well. You do not have to be the best designer at all, but if you can learn to make something that looks aesthetic like this, it's not that hard to do these things, even though it looks very nice. It's pretty simple to do if you learn how to use Illustrator, Photoshop, or free alternatives like Inkscape and Photopea, respectively. Just like, I'd recommend a vector program paired with some kind of photo editing software. Then you can be miles ahead of the game. I know a lot of people here are interested in business. They don't want to hear the design side of things. But if you just invest a bit of time in learning design software, even with free tutorials on YouTube, then you will be giving yourself a massive advantage in this market, provided you do the research and SEO. Maybe I could do another video on design. I've done one before on free design methods, but I've learned so much since then. It's actually crazy. So let me know if that's something you would want to see. The second niche which has sold well for me is body positivity, which I think demonstrates a good example of targeting things that are popular on the internet and also researching niches in depth. So just for some context, if you're not familiar with what this means, it's not as actually straightforward as it sounds. So let me tell you the story of how I found this niche. So for me, it began with doing research on Redbubble, which is another website I sell on. And for that, I basically look up trending keywords on this website. It's called Bubble Trends. I found this phrase that was like thick thighs or something, thick thighs save lives. And I was like, oh, what's this about? So I did a bit of research and I basically dug up a massive internet rabbit hole. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, but I will try to summarize briefly. So from my understanding, this was initially a movement to help people be like more confident about their physical appearance and encourage like acceptance of especially people with different body weights and physical disabilities. But, with any movement, obviously you have people with extreme views at either end. And it started trending on the internet when some people started using it to basically say that being obese or like morbidly obese even was healthy. So sort of like healthy at every size kind of thing. And then other people were like, no, that's clearly a dangerous thing to say. And then there were just certain people that were quite prominent figures on both sides. And it just turned into a massive firestorm on the internet, as you can see on Google Trends. So it's always existed, but it's just this recent drama that's made it blow up, and it's gotten a lot more people to know about it. So it's still not really died out. And if you just do a Google search of body positive quotes, you can find a bunch of untrademarked quote ideas that sell really well, especially on stickers and t-shirts for me, because there's just people that feel really strongly about this. And a good example of why doing deeper research into a niche can get you pretty far sometimes. And the last niche which sold for me is politics. So again, it's a very polarizing topic. It's always trending on the internet. It doesn't sell consistently for me like the other two niches, but I did manage to catch some good times like elections, and you can make a pretty good amount from those kind of things, provided you have good designs. But one point I need to bring up is that I would advise being very careful about some topics. So, avoid any hate speech or anything that could be seen as very offensive, because that could get you reported. Also, try to avoid politicizing things like wars or natural disasters. If a politician dies or something, it's a trap a lot of people fall into. For example, people making Ukraine shirts, don't do it. You will get reported because you're trying to profit from people suffering, essentially. So focus on things like jokes, funny political memes, encouraging people to vote, that kind of thing. I'd say if you're worried about a keyword, just don't use it. It's a massive hassle to deal with suspensions, as I've covered before. There's always a safer alternative. So next I wanted to talk about custom print-on-demand products. So these, as you can see examples here, they definitely sell on Etsy, but it's more, do you have the time to make them? And are you or the customer going to be perfectionist about it? I mean, they work best with a pre-made design rather than things like just slap your design on here. If you do a pre-made design and then just do like insert your name here or insert text here, that kind of thing, you can get pretty good margins with that. I had one custom listing that was doing well, but I've stopped doing it now because it does take a lot of time if you're not a full-time seller. You might be thinking, what's so time consuming about customizing one design? But it's the whole like entering the address, checking if the design's okay with the customer before you send it, which is what I do because I don't want bad reviews and all that jazz. One solution potentially is to increase the price, but I've found that with my product, if I increase the price just slightly, then I get no sales. If I decrease it back down to the original, I get a bunch of orders coming in that aren't really worth the time to fulfill because it's such a small profit for the custom work, right? So I've just stopped doing them. Call me lazy, but I definitely prefer the autopilot way of doing things. I just wanted to share my experience on that because I have been asked about custom products on Etsy, but the answer is yes, they do sell. And my very last tip to cover is selling your designs as SVG files like these. So I first got this idea because a customer liked my design and they wanted to print it on an apron. So they wanted a digital file. And then I thought, why not just upload my designs as downloadable SVG files every time alongside the physical products, because when you sell a digital product, you have very big profit margins as percentage anyway. And I've already sort of put the effort into making the design, so I might as well make 2 uploads for the effort of 1. And since then, a couple SVGs have sold as well. I've also made things like phone wallpapers and desktop backgrounds, and those have sold. So just some digital product ideas. Make sure you export these as an SVG. I also export a quick access PDF for them as well. SVG, if you're not familiar with that, it's standard vector graphic, I think. So that's a vector file. And yeah, these do sell well sometimes. So I've just been giving 3 examples of niches that sell for me, but we've actually covered a lot of points in this video. So things like SEO, researching your niche in depth, risk versus reward, keeping your account safe, and digital products as well. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Make sure to watch my Etsy playlist, link down below if you're interested in how to make money on Etsy, especially with print on demand, and all my discount codes, socials, and links down below. I'll see you in the next video.